What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am literally showing you guys the best model in the entire world, and I'm going to explain how I made $3,300 today with a little trade recap. Most of you watching this video are watching this due to the reason of wanting to quit your 9-to-5 job. So I suggest you listen. We're not here to make $50,000 a day on a trade. We're here to make ends meet in order to not work a job. Okay, that is the end goal. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. All right, so to start off, here's a trade I took, and then popping up on your screen now will be the screenshots of the Apex accounts I took this on. And again, for any of you experienced, when you see this trade, there's a light bulb that goes off in your head. You're like, yeah, this is a good trade. Okay, but let me just explain my actual thought process. And I'm actually going to be doing this using a recording of my stream today. So we're just going to pull this up here. LRLR above. And I'm going to explain everything I said in live time. Okay, I'm going to explain this very carefully. All right, so just be patient. It's a 2-minute video. Just listen. LRLR above. Yeah, look, like we're kind of forming LRLR here. But I'd rather still let's go down here first. So the first step in like finding a play that I took here is actually not just seeing the play and just taking it. I was actually planning for this to happen. Okay, and when we were coming down here, I noticed something. I noticed we left equal highs right here. Okay, I'm gonna circle it. Now I know they're not like super obvious equal highs and they're only one candle apart, but they're still equal highs. But also combined with this trend line liquidity we were leaving as well. So I like this trend line liquidity a lot because, again, for anyone new in this market, this trend line right here loves to be ran because everyone places their stop losses above here, 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 and here. And when one stop gets ran, the other stops will get ran consecutively as well. So that was the first reason I liked it. Now, notice I said we're forming LRLR here, or trend line liquidity, but I want us to go down first. Why did I want us to go down first? Well, listen, this is going to be a giant candle when this breaks because there's so many stop losses here. Look at ES. Like, ES looks like, look, there's a lot of LRLR here, but I think we go down first and then up. That's why I'm saying we could still get the dream scenario from here. So I'm calling out the dream scenario to already go down here. And since the opening candle and since the beginning of the day, I was already calling the dream scenario go down, go up. Now, when we opened up, I wanted this. This is what I wanted. But we ended up going up here. But I want you to see something here real quick. We never ended up going to this higher time frame high in the hourly. We missed it. So I'm like, okay, there's still a possibility because we missed this high of us getting the dream scenario and going down again, then up. Because we missed that high and it left relative equal highs. And to understand that takes a lot of skill. It takes, one, the skill of knowing relative equal highs and, you know, what counts, what doesn't count. And two, it takes a skill of being able to look this far back and understanding that as well. And the reason why I wanted us to go down first is because look how many times we came into this little like supply zone and it bounced off of it. Every single time we form a bunch of lows like this, they will be ran with a pretty big stop loss. Something is holding up the market here and they will get liquidated. The market will never bounce off of lows like this. Like you're almost rarely going to see something like this where we have like a quadruple bottom. Usually this will be ran. So I wanted that to be ran, but I also recognize the LRLR above or the trend line liquidity. So that's why I was thinking, okay, run the lows first and then go take out the liquidity because we had an unbalanced 15-minute below here. Well, technically it was here, but we had a low inside of fair value gap here, and on the 5-minute chart, actually no, it was a 3-minute chart. We actually left equal lows here. See, we left equal lows here, and they were sneaky. Okay, but they were there. So now we have relative equal lows there. It's also equal lows, perfect equal lows. It's also low inside of fair value gap. And for those of you who don't know, whenever we form these lows inside these fair value gaps overnight and we're bullish for the day, the market loves running these because these are people getting in being like, oh, I know the bias is bullish. And they're right. It is bullish. But in New York session, we will manipulate below the Asia or London take out the low that bounced out of fair value gap because people are placing their stop here. Because what causes the market to actually go up here? Well, people buying or algorithms buying. So naturally, there's going to be a ton of stops here. So New York will like to manipulate those stops and then go up to the high. And that's why I always say, like, my dream scenario is like the same thing every time. Going below a low, below a fair value gap that happened during overnight, and then getting a V-shaped recovery off it. So that was really my thinking process and why I wanted us to go down to the low and then up again. Okay. Literally, all we want is this. Big candle down, V-shape outside of this. Run the LRLR back up here. Would be perfect. Literally called it all in live time. Like I've done this for 6 years, guys. We have equal highs above. Like if we pump from here, that would be the worst longs ever than if we were to get the longs here. And I made sure to be like, if we pump from here, longs would be horrible. I would never touch a single long if we pump from there. If you long and we never swept this low, you're gambling. That is a complete gamble. Okay, I suggest not doing that in the future. Don't long with a quadruple bottom below. You're going to get wrecked at some point. You might get a short-term win, but long-term, that's not profitable. Yeah, now we have a data high too. Okay, here it is. Boom. Boom, baby. There it is. There's the big candle. So now this is where I look for a long, probably. Now it's okay to look for longs. So I actually fumbled. When we hit the low, I'm like, okay, now it's okay to look for a long in here. And we actually never got a long in there. But when we were like here, I'm like, wait a minute. We have equal lows here. I'm actually going to wait for these. And it's not like we got along anyways. Like, we never even got along. We actually just dumped right to the low. But in live time, I'm like, oh, wait, we have equal lows here. Actually, wait for these to hit. And it wouldn't have mattered because did we ever get along before those equal lows hit? No. There's no inversion here. There's nothing here. So even without knowing these equal lows are there, you still would not have longed anyways. Okay, but that's just another thing to point out, and that's why marking overnight lows are important because, waiting for these are important. Because you don't have any other liquidity here to target. All we have now is two giant-ass fair value gaps here with a lot of support. Does a second gap here matter? Okay, I would say this is where the entry happens. And someone asked me, does this 3-minute gap matter? Okay, let me just explain my thought process. Because I was already calling out the dream scenario to come down here and pump up, I did not think this mattered because we already had a ton of built up liquidity above. So when I saw this inverse in the 3, I did not think this mattered because this trend line liquidity, like, this should already be ran anyways. Like, we already have stop losses here and we're already delivering from a dream scenario and we already had a manipulation leg. Did I know there was going to be a manipulation leg? No. But this is V-shape enough for me to be like, okay, we're probably going to run the trend line liquidity now and go up to these equal highs. I don't need to wait for the 3-minute. Now, if you waited for the 3-minute, still could have been a win, but this was a much better entry, okay? But in this case, when I already have the dream scenario planned out, I already have liquidity planned out, I typically will not wait for the external gap. If the bias is neutral or I don't know what the bias is or I'm not confident, then I always wait for the external gap. But in this situation, I already had my prediction set and I already had my analysis and plan ready. If we get a CISD here, meaning like if we close above this, I would say no. And another thing I talked about was, the matter of getting a CISD or not. Basically, an advanced change of state of delivery is when we close below or above the last down close candle right here that takes out this low. So when we close above this, that's a good sign. Some people, I usually teach it as we need to close above this, both of the candles, but the true advanced CISD for, advanced traders would be this if you already know where liquidity is. Like, this already confirms we're going to go higher. You don't need to wait for this because I understand liquidity well enough to where, okay, this is confirmation we're going to go up. So in this scenario, we close above the candle that took out liquidity, which is why this would be the actual CISD. So I said if we get the CISD, then this gap would likely break as well, which is why I was okay to take it before. But if we don't, then I would say yeah. Depends on how strong this candle looks, to be honest. So this is me just getting it on a paper account. Obviously, execute it on my Apexes on the other screen. I already actually took a gold one setter for life before this, so I was already done for the day on my live account. But it just shows how many endless opportunities there are if you learn how to fish for me. Like, it's insane. Like, I don't. It could be like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I could be sleeping, and you could see a textbook play, and you'll take it, right? I'm sleeping, so I can't take it, but I'm teaching you how to fish, guys. That's the important part. All right, boys. I'm all out there. Fuck that. So yeah, that's when I was all out, and I got out a little before because I don't really care about a few points. But anyways, absolutely banger play. All right, how many people took that setup? Okay, and all started with predicting the dream scenario. All started with, okay, what did overnight do? We left equal lows here. Go sweep these, and then go up to the relative equal highs we left, and we actually just swept them. So it all started with us leaving these highs, right? It all started with this, how we left the highs. And if we took out the high, then I probably would not have taken it. I bet you we would have went down, but we didn't. We left the equal highs up here, and that's the key thing, right? The key thing is us when we leave these highs here. Now they're relative equal. Now we know they're a good form of liquidity. So I still like the dream scenario. We had data highs at open. We had a data high here, and we had a data high here. Unfortunately, open just ripped up and took them. But the good part is it didn't take out this high, which is why even though we took out the data highs from 830 and 815, that I was still looking for a dream scenario back up because we still left liquidity up there. Now, you're probably wondering, why did I not target way up here? Honestly, didn't need to. 2.8 AR, I don't need more. If I target up there and I'm not taking TP at 2.8, that's just me being greedy. Okay, generally I'm going for 2R max. If I'll sometimes leave a runner, but you don't always need to. But anyways, banger play. If you want to take plays like this, and practice taking plays like this, I strongly recommend getting an Apex account. Link in the description for that using my code Dodgy. It's a $50,000 account you can get for pretty cheap. And again, just experiment with my model, man. I mean, I've taught every single influencer this model. Every influencer you follow that trades IFGs, they learn somewhat from my tweets, my videos, anything. Okay, I backtested this on my own after learning ICT. ICT opened my eyes to how the market moves, and now everyone trading my model. And I am the source. Okay, any IFG, like, I mean, you can obviously ask these other guys who will answer you, because sometimes I won't answer you because I have a lot of followers. Questions, but make sure you're like watching what I say about some of these, because some of these other influencers, they're completely pattern trading and they have no context about any of these setups. Okay, they just kind of see it and they're like, oh, I thought you could probably take that. And yeah, they're right, but not every setup I'd take, because some are truly a pattern trade and I want to take it. Now this was not a pattern trade. This was complete, context, stream scenario, liquidity above. Yeah, that's going to be it for now. I will see you guys later. So yeah, have a good one. Peace.